want to thank our fans for creating a great atmosphere and a great environment this weekend. I think they made the difference in this series. I think that their support and the way that they just came out and got behind our kids, I think it energized us. It was a great atmosphere, grandstand, sold out, and I just think it relaxed our kids and it made them supremely confident. Right now, at this moment, our kids are driving throughout the community, and they're doing a reading and read program, which is a literacy program, where they're going to elementary and middle schools, and they're promoting literacy, and they're also promoting the university, and they're with other student athletes. So, you know, it's back to work, but it's also understanding that your obligation as a student athlete entails more than just playing in front of the bright lights. Also about giving back. This weekend it was a big series, we understand that. And now with a young team, I think our focus has to be about what's in front of us, and also taking from this weekend not what we did well, but what we have to improve on, and some of the areas of the game that we got to get better on. We can still get better, and we got to get Jordan going again. We got to continue to work on our consistency at the bottom of the lineup. We have to continue to get better defensively. We have to develop some depth, and you know, you heard Coach Hudd talk about it, you heard Coach Robichaud talk about it, the importance of staying healthy and making sure that your kids are in the right position at the right time. I mean, that's so critical. So, our focus now is not to look around, not to scoreboard watch, to keep the nose down and keep grinding and finding a way to get better and get better day by day. McNeese is going to be an incredible challenge for us Wednesday. And then this weekend, right before Easter Sunday, playing in Troy is always a tough place for us. And we have to understand that now the roles are going to be reversed. It's going to be a tough environment for us. And we're not going to have our fans there, and we got to find a way to go handle that challenge and that environment. Shoe on the other foot. It's kind of where we are.
Coach, all season you started out with so many questions, young team, played a lot of tough teams. To me, you're going into your first stretch where, after the McNeese game, you're going to be playing teams that Tony talked about on paper you should beat, and yet you still have a lot of young players that hadn't really dealt with that situation. What about handling that? Because really it's the first time they've been presented that.
I mean, it's a different challenge, but if you keep it in perspective, the way that Coach Robichaud explained it, I think he explained it exactly the right way. If you allow your focus to drift from your preparation and getting yourself better, and it starts going to the opponent and paper and this and that and all this other clutter that is really irrelevant, then you get in trouble. It's a tough game to play. How do your Astros sweep the Yankees? How does that happen? I mean, on that.
Rain.
Voodoo magic.
They did.
How do they win one game? Really? How does that happen? It's not supposed to happen.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you look around in the world of athletics and you start talking about if who's supposed to win is actually does the winning, then why do you play? More times than not, the underdog has a reason to fight, and they have a reason to get after it. I always like to be, because Robichaud talking about, and he's playing that role well, you know, being the number one and wearing that role. I like to be the underdog, and I like to be going after somebody. So this team is worn that role well, and that's what we're going to continue to be. We're still young. I mean, just because we're 2 months into the season, we're still young. We still have a lot. We still have those same issues in front of us. We still have a lot of growing and learning to do, and all of those things are still there. I mean, none of that has changed, and none of it's going to change.
What were you most encouraged by over the weekend?
And I love the way those kids fight. I mean, that is just so inspiring to watch those kids fight every pitch. They are amazing. Those kids are amazing. And I mean, there's no question that South Al was a worthy opponent, and those two pitchers had the best ERA in the country, and all of what they came into, and our kids really just went out there and fought. And the other thing that impressed me, I addressed that in my opening comments, was the way that this community supports those kids. That, it just gives you chill bumps. You walk into that park, you look up into the stand, and you see so many people there who care about and love these kids and want them to do good. It's so inspiring to me. Those kids responded, and they just kept fighting and fighting and battling and fighting. And our fans and our community right behind them, just fighting with them every pitch. It's so much fun. It's fun to watch that happen. And then you watch something magical happen. You know, you watch kids exceed some expectations sometimes, or rise to an occasion, or do something out of character. And I think those circumstances is what brought it out. Y'all heard enough of me. I'm going to bring Coach Hubbard up here for a second.
Yeah, a good weekend, and I felt the girls did a great job in terms of preparing, in terms of kind of understanding, at least from my point of view, some of the game plan that we were going to attack offensively and defensively. They got in those situations, and I think all three games we were down first and scored early, and those kids never let it affect their mindset. It never affected their performance. They got in there and battled from the get-go, and those were three fun games, three exciting games, and looking forward to Wednesday night and this weekend as well. There'll be some good matchups the rest of the way.
How big was Walsh's home run on Saturday? Kind of let the air, the tension building up, kind of, wow, we can actually hit these guys.
Yeah, the first one was Sam, and that was good coming from her too. You know, she's like what Coach Mike has said the last couple of weeks. She's probably one of the best, 210, 215, 220 hitters in the country, and she's on the rise up. I look for her to continue, but for her to lead that off and kind of get that momentum going, I think for her and for the team that was special, and I think that definitely opened their eyes. But hey, we can get on this kid, because after that it was kind of a floodgates open.
TJ, now 2 months into the season, even though it's a young team, they've kind of seasoned quite a bit, haven't they?
They have. I would say over the last 2 to 3 weeks, facing Western Kentucky and South Alabama back to back. In my opinion, two of the better pitching staffs in the conference in our region, and they've handled it pretty well. And to me, I'm starting to see them grow. They're still young. We still have some adjustments to make. We still have some learning to do. But it seems like that learning curve is getting shorter and shorter each trip out there.
What are some of the, Coach Lotief talked about the McNeese challenges. I mean, what type of team are they, and what challenges do they present?
I mean, Nice is they're a good, solid ball club. They're not going to show you a lot of power and a lot of offense with the bats, but they're going to have solid pitching. They're going to run the bases very, very well. They're going to be aggressive on the bases, and they got a pretty good pitching staff. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They're not going to give you a lot of opportunities to score. And for us, we're going to have to be pretty solid in the circle, making sure that we're not giving them extra opportunities. But they're a good ball club. They beat some quality opponents. It's going to be a tough matchup.
What's going on with Jordan Wallace? I mean, is she, she had kind of a rough outing, and are you working with her? mechanics, or is it mental, or what? Or is it anything?
Well, I know there for two or three outings in a row. I thought our last outing against Western Kentucky, she did well. This last game, this Saturday game, a little bit tougher, and I think from your guys' point of view, you have to understand sometimes some of those pitchers don't match up well with some of the umpire strike zones and what the umpire's giving them. And in certain situations, the kid may be doing a lot of good things. It's just not working out, getting the calls, and then now we have to come a little bit more over the plate, and now things get out of control. So I was happy with Jordan over the last 2 or 3 starts that she had coming into Saturday, and it felt like she was getting a good grasp on where she needed to be at. And obviously we're working with all those kids trying to get better, even the ones that seem like they're doing well, trying to make sure that they're getting better. I think she'll be okay. She's not one to shy away from work. She's not one to fold in the tent. So I look forward to seeing her this week, and I think she'll be back in action. And just kind of forget about Saturday and move on.
Coach, what was the big difference between facing Campbell Saturday and Sunday, as far as y'all approaching with the success?
I think the one thing that helped, at least for our runs early on Sunday, was some of the success we had against her in the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning. Even though we were down by 3 or 4 going into the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th inning on Saturday night, I felt like our kids started hitting better foul balls. We were making better swings on the ball. We actually put a few base runners on there in the last few innings, and I felt like at that moment in time they started figuring out a little bit of her pitch sequence, a little bit of her ball movement. They started timing it up a little bit better. So I think those last 3 innings, those kids last round through the lineup, hitting off her, made a huge difference going into Sunday. And it didn't seem like it just took one time through the lineup, and those kids were on her in a hurry.
You talked about Jordan, but how about Christina? How hot is she now?
Christina's doing well. She's she's getting the job done right now. We're trying to to keep her going, keep her rolling. She still has some things. All those kids, like I said, all those kids have things that we need to improve on and get better at. But Christina's been pretty solid for us. One thing I liked about the difference from Saturday to Sunday is she had a little bit of a shaky start Saturday, a little bit of a rough start. She settled into the 3rd inning, and the 3rd through 7th, she was pretty dominant, and she came out on Sunday, in my opinion, other than 1 or 2 at bats. She gave up 5 or 6 hits. 1 or 2 at bats were hard hit balls, and the rest of them she was doing exactly what we were asking her to do, pitch count wise. And she was hitting her spot. She was in total command. And for a kid to go out on Saturday and have an average performance and come back on Sunday and shut a team down like that is good to know, especially going into the last 3 weekends of conference play.
After seeing some of the better pitchers in the conference, right now, do you feel that you guys have the best 1-2 staff in the Sun Belt starters?
I don't know if it'd be hard to make that assessment right now. There's still a lot of teams left to play each other, and we still have 3 conference series left. I think we're definitely in the top third of that in the league, but to say we have the best 1-2, for me at this point is too early to tell. There's still a lot of softball left. Western Kentucky's got a pretty good 1-2 combo too.
Any further questions? Okay, guys. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.